We begin tonight in the Middle East, the deadliest 24 hours yet in a week of bloody escalation. The UN Security Council meeting today, but taking no official action, and global outrage is growing. Protests this weekend around the world, this particular one in Chicago. Overnight, Israeli forces hit several buildings in Gaza City. Many of the dead are children, desperate families searching through the rubble. And today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu defending the continuing airstrikes. Israeli officials claim Hamas fired 3,100 rockets this week from Gaza, one damaging a synagogue today. The White House standing by Israel's right to defend itself and calling for an end to the violence. Israel closing the Gaza border, not allowing in aid or journalists. ABC's chief national correspondent Matt Gutman leads us off tonight from Tel Aviv.
Tonight, Israel's deadliest attack on the Gaza Strip since the conflict began, leaving dozens dead and rescuers clawing at debris piles for survivors. At least 42 killed in those airstrikes, including 26 women and children. Today, rescuers rushing children, bloodied and encrusted with dust, to ambulances. And through gaps in those slabs of concrete, signs of life. "Are you okay?" they shout. There's a weak response. "Yes, I hear you." Later, that man is pulled out and rushed to an ambulance. Rayed Ishkontana survived the airstrike, but his wife and 4 of his children were killed. And though badly injured, he was wheeled to the debris pile to tenderly kiss their shrouded faces one last time. Rayed telling us he screamed to his wife to get their children out of the building right before another missile struck. And miraculously, his 7-year-old daughter pulled from the rubble alive. Today, the UN Security Council holding an emergency meeting.
The senseless cycle of bloodshed, terror and destruction must stop immediately.
And tonight, Israel also facing international outrage for leveling a building housing the Associated Press and other international media. The Israelis gave those inside just an hour to evacuate. The Associated Press CEO calling it an assault on press freedom.
That building provided the best vantage point for the world to see the events in Gaza. And now that building is destroyed.
Israel saying it provided evidence to the U.S. that the building housed a Hamas military installation, but it hasn't released it publicly. Israel's prime minister defending the action.
It's a perfectly legitimate target. And I can tell you that we took every precaution to make sure that there were no civilian injuries.
So far, at least 197 Palestinians killed, including 58 children, more than 1,200 wounded. On the Israeli side, 10 killed and nearly 300 wounded in the week-long conflict. And Hamas's rain of rockets continuing tonight. 3,100 rockets launched towards Israel so far, says the military, a rate 5 times higher than in any previous conflict. I want to give you a sense of what those rocket blasts can do. The rocket landed about 20 yards away, 2 floors down. Now, the family here was eating its Sabbath meal when the siren sounded. They sprinted to their bomb shelter. They were okay, but the man across the street was killed. And earlier today, a rocket hitting a synagogue in the southern Israeli city of Ashkelon. Through smoke and dust, you can see the shrapnel and the hole the rocket made. No one was hurt. The tensions spilling over, pitting neighbor against neighbor. A Palestinian driver ramming a group of police officers in the same Jerusalem neighborhood where the eviction of 6 Palestinian families from their homes was one of the triggers for the outbreak of this latest spasm of violence.
Matt Gutman joins us now from Tel Aviv. And Matt, we know that just today the Prime Minister of Israel said that the attacks on Hamas targets would take time. So what is the U.S. doing to try to bring an end to this violence?
Lindsay, the U.S. is on a bit of a diplomatic blitz. The U.S. envoy here on the ground meeting with Israeli generals, also with officials from Russia and the UN. And Secretary of State Tony Blinken speaking with his counterparts in Egypt and Qatar. Both of those countries maintain ties with Hamas. Right now, they're talking about de-escalating the conflict even before they get into the issue of a real ceasefire. Lindsay.
Matt, thanks so much. And of course, stay safe.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.